Boop2 says, what do you think about Universe Mode and the promos? And do you think they will bring back the intros for the shows? Hi everybody, welcome to Matt Chat here on Assemble. I'm hopeful here, Mr. Boop, that they're gonna bring back promos and integrating them within the action item list that they have already set up in Universe Mode. I don't know if we would necessarily just get promos as a section added in. I kind of wonder if they're going to try to integrate it somehow with that action item list to make it a little more engaging with cutscenes. But they need to have like expansion on it so that it's not just select promo, in ring, and heel versus face. Like, it's got to be like the old days of promos. If they could take it a step further, I would love them to be able to include something where you can add in your own individual custom text to it. That would make it way better. Show intros seems to be one that is just a matter of like turning on and off, because I think in the intro menus of the 2K23, there's actually like Universe Mode show intros. I swear I've seen something like that in the past, but it's been gone. I don't know why it's removed. Unless they can just bring it back very easily next year, it'd be great. WWE Fan for Life says, do you believe that the in-game roster will be significantly larger than the previous WWE 2K installments? Will WWE 2K24 bring back create a taunt, finisher, etc.? I think the roster will be larger. We didn't see a lot of releases for this past year. In years past, in like 22 came out, there was a lot of releases, a lot. So the roster was still pretty significant by the time the game came out. 23 was very strong. We have seen some releases, but not as big of a pool as before. So the likes of Dolph Ziggler, Dana Brooke, Shelton Benjamin, Elias, and a few others, not a crazy amount of releases, which is good news because I think it makes room for, okay, we get the whole existing WWE roster that's there for Raw and SmackDown, and then we see the up and coming stars for NXT. The DLC is going to be interesting this year to see how they position it, what they do. Are they going to rely very heavily on NXT? And to your other point, will they bring back create a taunt, finisher? So they brought back like the create an entrance feature where you could go in and customize the entrances. I hope that gets expanded so they can do more of it. I didn't love it. I didn't use it as much as I thought I would. Create a taunt, I don't see it coming back just yet. Create a finisher, I know, is on people's list. I think that the dev team themselves, they might be interested in bringing that in, like Brian Williams, for example, who's worked for years on the games. And for all intents and purposes, I think he's very into updated moves. Create a finisher, I think, was under his belt when he was working on previous years' games too. I like them to bring it back. Do I think it's in 24? No, maybe 25. Escaped Fred says, do you think we'll have different match types? Congratulations also on 98,000 subs. Thank you guys for subscribing and supporting the channel too. It means a lot. We're almost at 100. We almost did it. It looks like we're gonna do it this year. So if you guys can, hit the sub button, that helps a lot too. Do we think that we're gonna get different match types? Yes. If I had to put money on it, I'd probably say you're gonna get special guest referee. I could be wrong, these are my guesses. I think you're gonna get special guest referee. I think you might get a buried alive match, but I think you're gonna get special guest ref, maybe one or two others included in there. I don't think we're gonna get something crazy revamped for 24 where they're gonna do something big, but because I think with 23, they really wanted to put a lot of marketing and push behind War Games being the big cool addition. I think that for 24, you're gonna see incremental updates and changes and additions to the game and match types they need to do. And I think what they do is they give you special guest referee and maybe one or two others. Kegel says, what are your thoughts on how the WWE Royal Rumble Premium Live event and the match itself can be implemented into GM mode? GM mode's interesting. I like GM mode. I hope that they improve it and they actually increase like the match, give us all the matches that are in regular play. It needs to be almost like Universe Mode in terms of control. It's not there yet. I think for 24, we do see a little bit more added into GM mode. It seems like every year since they brought it back, 22 and 23, they've built on it, they patched it, they built on it, they've patched it. In 24, I think you could see a little bit more of a boost to that. I don't think it'll be perfect, but I think it will be better. Rumble, Premium Live Events, and the match itself implemented in GM mode. I hope we get Royal Rumble in there. How it can be implemented, I think it'll just be a matter of you dump in your roster and then the other brand's going to just auto-populate, dump in their roster. And if you have assigned legends on your roster, then those can get added into the Rumble. I think it would just be like any other match that you're going to create. But I think what they would do is just have the AI control everybody else on the other brands, whether it's NXT, WCW, or Raw, and your SmackDown brand, you just select your 10 that you're gonna add into the Rumble match. Where it gets interesting then is like simulating it. What I love to see is if they implement the Rumble into GM mode, that they let you still continue to control camera angles, because they let us do that in 23, and I love that part of GM mode, and I don't know why I can't do that in Exhibition. Baffles me. But I would love to be able to control those camera angles in the Rumble, simulate it. That would make for some interesting content. I think people would be able to love to do that, to simulate it. They could get different shots of the whole Rumble, and then being able to control who you want going through the Rumble match. Kadar says, who do you think is winning the Women's Royal Rumble? I think it's going to be Becky, because WWE has been teasing a match between her and Rhea, and I think it will happen at 40. Becky's kind of my go-to shot for Women's Royal Rumble winner. There are a few names that I think get a clear shot. Becky, though, is my front runner, because yes, I think they have teased her along the way, just a little bit, little hints of it, but they haven't really interacted a whole lot all year long. So I think because they've kept them so separate, it makes a lot of sense to have Becky go in, win the Rumble, challenge Rhea, but I think Rhea retains against Becky so that Rhea can get put up another notch as like a legitimate champion, even more so. The other contenders that I think have a shot, I would say Bayley has a shot, because then you have the whole story and unwinding of Damage Control. If Bayley doesn't win, by the way, I kind of see right now, I would see Sasha Banks and Naomi coming back, and then you get 3-on-3. So you get Bayley, Sasha, Naomi teaming up to go on against Damage Control at Mania, which I could totally see as a night one match. The other names I would say, Liv Morgan, a lot of people point her out because they're like, oh, she's got history with Rhea Ripley. So Liv will probably make a comeback at the Rumble. I don't totally see her winning the Rumble though. I still feel Becky's the one. And next up we got Brock Lesnar. That's awesome. Matt, hi. What do you think about AEW Fight Forever right now? Should they try to resurrect the game's fan base, or should they abandon it and make a new, more realistic game, or completely abandon a video game? It's interesting what they should do with Fight Forever, honestly. Like it hasn't been out for a year, and I see a lot of these conversations online of like, okay, the game is dead, kill the game off, forget it. Should they do like I've suggested, I'm like, just resurrect it and do 2.0, but we're not even a full calendar year into this game coming out, and it's already in conversations of like, oh, we need to like revive the game. We shouldn't have to revive anything. And I think in AEW's mind, they don't need to revive anything. I think they think things are okay, and we're going to continue to add more content and keep building on it with the roster updates. I don't think you abandon it. I think if you did, then you're looking at another 3 to 5 years for them to come up with something different, like a simulation style, a 2K, like having EA as an example, coming in and taking over the license and producing something there, which I wouldn't want. I think you stick with it. I think you stick with the engine. You've already built this. You've already put in millions, arguably, into this game. I think you continue to build off of it. I just think they need to double down and focus it, get the right people in there to support it and say, okay, this is the direction, this is how we grow this game. I think you put it on Game Pass and PlayStation Plus so that it becomes free for players. And then that way you might drive a few more users to come in. You need to add the match types, and you eventually, I think you need to show players that you're expanding things with a new mode. You need to create a pay-per-view, create a franchise, a season mode, a something that gets you in there all the time, wanting to get, because the Stadium Stampede mode is not that. Could have been, but it's not. I think you dump that or stop supporting it as much, and then just go right into, you know what, we've got this offline mode, it's a season mode, you're gonna add your pay-per-views, create your shows, we're giving you more tools and assets for the creation suite, and build it, and build it, and build it, and you will get players coming back, in my opinion. Kavix 6089 says 2K24 showcase could be HBK. Thoughts? I think HBK is great. I was talking about multiple showcase stars the other day, and who you can see from Triple H, Undertaker, Randy, HBK was on the list too. I think HBK would be wonderful. I think if you had like Cody on the cover and you do an HBK showcase, that could really work. I mean, you could pull so much of Shawn Michaels' history. Shawn Austin, Shawn Brett, Diesel, Triple H, DX, the Montreal Screwjob you could put in there. You could get into his comeback and his match against Triple H at SummerSlam. Then his whole like second run you could go through. You might not be able to do the Ric Flair retirement match because of Flair's status with the company. The Undertaker matches, the Hell in a Cell, Mankind. I mean, Shawn has one of the greatest careers in WWE, and like the Rockers, like you could do so much with HBK. I would love to see it. I would not be disappointed, but it's how they deliver it, because if it's just more Rey Mysterio, John Cena style showcase where I play as Shawn, I got generic music in the background, I have to keep pausing the game to do these objectives to see what I have to do, and then does some cutscenes, then I'm gonna be a little disappointed, because then it's just more of the same thing, and I don't want that. Jamie, what's up, buddy? Are we too ambitious with all these recent suggested wrestler additions to 2K24? How dare you? Based off 2K's track record, they're a whole year or more behind when the game releases. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm dead wrong. Jamie, you bring up a great point. The 2K games are a year behind. So we get like WrestleMania 39. So it's kind of like the game releases in March, 2K23 releases in March. Right after that, for all intents and purposes, they start working on 24. So we get WrestleMania in real life, and then they start working from there all the way until like now, well, the Royal Rumble, where it's like finalized, polished up, getting pressed, ready to go, because we are less than 3 months away from the game coming out. Final touches are in place. That's why you don't see these crazy changes every year that we often hope for. For the roster side, I think, yeah, you look at the roster being pretty healthy. Are we being too ambitious? It depends on the names we're talking about. If it's on the Legends side, I don't think we're being too ambitious, honestly. I think we do see the Headbangers. I think we see the Dudleys. I think we might see Ken Shamrock. Like, we might see a lot of good Legend names. It just depends on what WWE wants to do and what they want to kind of promote for this whole game in this year. On the active roster side, you could look at like NXT as a big example of like, who are all the stars that we could see in there? I don't know, because there's so many names in NXT, they could cherry pick a lot, but they could also leave out quite a few, because maybe WWE doesn't feel like they're ready to be in the game and that they see this big future yet for these stars. It's going to be an interesting roster. I do feel hopeful that this will be an even bigger roster. I think 2K likes to do that, to be able to say this is the largest roster we've ever done. They can just keep increasing the names. And I think, I could be wrong, but I think that the rosters have increased year after year. I just think that when it comes to Legends, they need to really hit that, and I'm pretty hopeful we'll get a good pack of Legends. Just in Time says, if Roman retains the title at Mania, do you see him going on to break Bruno's record? No. I would think that he's gonna break Hogan's record and get to like SummerSlam. I don't know when he officially breaks Hogan's record. You guys will probably tell me in the comments, but I think he breaks Hogan's record if he retains, goes to SummerSlam if that's the timeline, and then Cody beats him at SummerSlam. And that's what I could see them doing. It's going to be interesting because, and I think there's another question about Elimination Chamber, The Rock, Roman, all this stuff. If it's Rock and Roman, I think Rock retains. I don't know what's going on with Cody, but if he does retain, I don't think he breaks Bruno's record. I think he breaks Hogan's record, but we'll see. The best in the world, baby, boom, says, if Adam Copeland comes into Fight Forever, will it include his theme? I also hope it isn't expensive. First half of that, I'd say yes. I think Copeland is coming to Fight Forever. I think he's a giant name for AEW that they totally want to market and get more and more eyeballs on. He can lead a whole DLC pack or the season pass if they want to do that. He might even come out in like a season 3. Will it include his theme song? I would say 100%, because we got everybody else's theme song in there, and Tony Khan is no stranger to getting the licensed music in there. It would be weird if Copeland didn't get his theme. So I don't see that being an issue. Hoping it's not expensive. I think it will be. I think if Copeland is going to be in season 3, for example, I think they're going to put him in solo, just like they did Tony Storm. Copeland is kind of a bigger name. It's on the Legend side. It's a large name, a large talent coming in. I think that they would want to have him stand alone as DLC. And I think that they would charge us 13, 14 bucks. It feels like sometimes they're just making up the numbers of what they're going to charge people. But yeah, I think Copeland comes in, individual DLC. FBE, my man, do you think WWE will have Roman Reigns beat The Rock at Elimination Chamber and then Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania 40 to gain more heat? That's a bold statement that I haven't seen a lot of people lean into, having Roman beat both of them. What it sounds like right now is Rock's not at Chamber. I think Roman posted online an advertising thing of like Chamber's coming up, so people started thinking Roman's gonna be at the Chamber. Doesn't sound like Rock's gonna be at the Chamber for the match with Roman. I think it's still gonna be WrestleMania. I don't think then he would beat both of them. Even if you had The Rock and Roman at WrestleMania, if that was the way they did all of this, could still happen. You have Roman beat Rock at Chamber, then Cody beats Roman, because then Cody is the guy who beats the guy that beat Rock. So Rock passes the torch to Roman, and then Cody gets to beat Roman, who beat The Rock, and Cody gets even more powerful. That's how I think they would do it, but because it doesn't sound like right now that Elimination Chamber is going to happen for Rock Roman, if that's WrestleMania, Cody's doing something else, I think. Cody could be doing Randy Orton or just something. I don't even know what he would be doing, but I don't know if that would happen. And right now, I think Roman might retain all of it at WrestleMania if Cody is not getting that match. Chuck's Cantina says, with CM Punk being honestly the last big pre-order bonus and or DLC character WWE can get, what do you think they do next? As I don't see the celebs like Bad Bunny or Snoop being big pre-order draws like a Goldberg or Lesnar. Schwarzenegger made sense, but other than that, not so much. Also, TK, stop tweeting. Cheers. Tony Khan needs to stop. What they could do is what they did in 22. The pre-order bonus content was Undertaker, and they gave you just the different versions of Taker. So if I hear what you're saying, because it's like you eventually run out, unless they bring in another celebrity and then they go, hey, look at the next celebrity that we're gonna highlight in the game. That I think will always kind of happen. It's WWE, they're always gonna want to have another name at WrestleMania. So like this coming WrestleMania 40, it could be another celebrity. It could be Johnny Knoxville comes back again and does another match. And if Knoxville comes back, then maybe he's going to be in the game as a pre-order bonus. You know, so there's different ways they can do it. But I think if we said, hey, there's no more celebrities and there's no really any other legends you could put in there, you would need some big legend from the past to be set up as a pre-order bonus that would make sense. And right now, I can't think of anybody that is a big enough legacy name that isn't already like in WWE. The only other thing I see them doing is more of the Undertaker style, which is here are the different eras of him. So if it was like The Rock, you gave us updated 2023, 24 version of The Rock with his new tattoo and all in his updated look. You put that in the base game, and then let's just say different eras of The Rock as your pre-order bonus. I think that sells a ton of copies because it's The Rock and you're splashing him on the box, you're splashing him in the corner of saying pre-order bonus is this. And you get all the eras. You get his original rollout, you get Attitude Era, you get Ruthless Aggression Era, you get Hollywood Rock. Like, you can give us 4 or 5 different versions of The Rock thrown in there. And I would like it. That's something I would like. And I like the Undertaker one. Different looks of the Undertaker, the different entrances. So I think there's good value there. I think they could just do more of that. Lean on the history and find wrestlers that have changed their looks over the years. Devin Fidel says, do you think 2K24 needs special guest referee? It needs something. Is special guest referee, like I've seen this comment of people being like, what's the big deal with special guest ref? It's that it's fun. It should never have been taken out. People like it. It depends how it's brought back to me, because if it's brought back with a lot of options in terms of being able to put it into a singles match, be a special ref in a tag match, chamber, multi-man matches, that's what I want to see. So it needs to come back, but in a great way. I fear with special guest referee, if 2K is bringing it back this year, I fear they're bringing it back like they did double belts. And what I mean is, it's generic. I worry they bring back special guest referee and they go, hey, look, we did it. And everyone goes, oh my gosh, it's finally back in the game. And then we find out that you can only do one-on-one matches with special guest referee, and they limit you completely. And they do like one-on-one matches and not even a title match. You know what I mean? Like I can see that. And then they say, well, in 25, we're going to improve this and give you special guest referee with tag team matches and fatal 4-ways and so on. So I do kind of worry that if they do bring this in, do they need it? They don't need that, but they need more match types. This is one of the main ones people request. So if this is the one they bring in, I think they need to hit a home run and make it as fun as possible and not just a 1v1. If they make it just 1v1, I think it's gonna get poor reception. Players will be happy it's there, but that they're gonna be upset that, okay, beyond a one-on-one match and I can eject somebody and I can't really do much else. Corndog says, who is someone who is new that you're looking forward to playing as in 24? Chelsea Green is one of them. Bronson Reed, I'd really like to finally play, that he's gonna be in the game. You assume he's in the game. I know he's not gonna be like new, like a brand new star, but CM Punk, because it's been so many years since he's been in a WWE game. I am excited to play as CM Punk as a Punk fan. Dragon Lee, if he's gonna be in the game, I think he'd be really fun as a luchador. Kevin Santiago says, when can we expect WWE 2K24 real reliable news? How dare you not say I'm reliable? I'm kidding. Probably in the next week. I think that the timeline for the rollout is right before the Royal Rumble. You will see the first trailer drop. I think more and more outlets are start to creep out a little bit more news, a little bit more info dropping days before the initial reveal. You'll start seeing a little bit more of that. So subscribe and stay tuned to the channel. Zero Load, that's disgusting. But do you think LA Knight will win the title? Yeah, I don't think he wins WWE Championship. I could see him get traded over to Raw at some point. Maybe if they do a draft after WrestleMania, draft LA Knight over to Raw, mix it up there for the World Heavyweight Championship. Love to see that. I can see him though for WrestleMania that he wins the US title and he goes up against the megastar Logan Paul, or whatever his moniker is. LA Knight's the megastar, but then you got the Logan Paul as the big star, whatever he is, the prime star. So I think LA Knight's first championship, is going to be Logan Paul US Championship. Then, I don't know, keep him on SmackDown then for a long time. I don't see him winning the WWE Championship after that, at least not yet. But I think if you drafted him and you put him over to Raw, then I think he's got a really good chance of getting that World Heavyweight Championship and mixing it up there. And Spider-Man Unofficial says, do you think that MJF will be at the Royal Rumble? If he didn't re-sign, he'll probably be cutting a promo or in the Rumble match to introduce a returning Andrade. And if he is at the Rumble, do you think he will be in 2K24? There's a lot in there, my friend. He'll be cutting a promo or in the Rumble match to introduce a returning Andrade? No, I don't think he would do that. I think, based on what's reported anyways, is like MJF, I think is continued. He hasn't said anything publicly, but I think he's continued his, like he's re-signed with AEW. So there's a chance he hasn't. He's out with big injuries for what seems to be like a year. AEW still talking about him on TV, so I don't think it happens. Maybe in 2025. I'd be shocked if it was going to be like, what's the shocker for the Rumble? It would be MJF's music hitting and him coming out. Bigger than AJ Styles. Like AJ Styles' debut at the Rumble was really cool. MJF coming out, that would probably be the shocker, like up there with Punk kind of thing for me. When it comes to Andrade, I do see Andrade coming back. I think Naomi comes back because we just saw her at TNA Hard to Kill. She lost, and so I think she is coming at the Royal Rumble, and I think Andrade will be in the Rumble too. Those are my guesses. And if you guys enjoy the Q&A here, subscribe to the channel, leave a like and all that stuff, and check out the community tab because we post these once a week. Thank you guys for submitting all your questions. We couldn't get to all of them today, but I really appreciate it. I got more content, more 2K24 content coming out this week. Have a great day. See ya.